I went to, what is it, Oracle? I went to Oracle, and then I met Stephen Curry, I met like Durant, I met so many famous people, but I didn't know they're famous. I was like, hey, what's up, Punch? That's it. I didn't really feel like, oh, you're so famous. I didn't know. I was like, oh, they're just best keeper player. And then I talked to my sister, and the sister was like, what the they are super famous, and like everyone, my coworker always watch NBA, and they are so fan of them. I was like, holy shit. And then now I check some YouTube video like Stephen Curry highlight, and then he just like 3-shot every time. I was like, wow, that guy is fierce, and I didn't really realize that he's super famous. So I kind of regret.
That's great. It sounds cool and everything. It's just too bad he couldn't have met a good team like the Raptors.
No one ever blows a 3-1 lead in the finals. It'll be fine.
Nope.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for our final game of the day. It is Clutch Gaming versus Golden Guardians. And as far as week 1 performances go, Golden Guardians delivered some of the most impressive performances of the weekend.
Yeah, I'd say they had the most impressive performance of any team in week 1. You know, based on the eye test, they looked so damn good. And Contractz talked in an interview about he thought he was the biggest problem for the team. You know, referring, I think, specifically to their playoff run where they did come up just short against FlyQuest, and you know that he has fixed a lot of those issues coming into summer, and this is the best start they've had in their history, and it's a team that I think most people are looking at and thinking is the most likely to challenge that big 3, but FlyQuest maybe throwing that into question with how they played today.
Yeah, well, meanwhile, Golden Guardians, one of the last 3 undefeated teams in the LCS. The other 2 undefeated teams already won today, so maybe they will also. We could talk about Clutch Gaming now, of course. They have had some good ideas, but they are falling short on execution.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think a good example is, you know, coming out with the Pyke for Huni. You know, that was a pretty cool pick. That was pretty exciting, but it didn't feel like the team really knew how to use the pick. They weren't playing heavily around it. They were not creating these chaotic moments where the champion can really succeed. And it feels like Clutch is a little unsure about what roles to play through, what their play style is. When you think back to last split, most of their success was actually, you know, Piglet playing Aurelia and this sort of crazy style. Cody Sun is a very different style of player. He's a standard marksman player. So Clutch has to really decide what kind of style you're going to play and start to work away at that quickly.
Well, right off the bat, Clutch Gaming have their ideas on some jungle bans. Olleh first ban is usually a little bit surprising for me. We'll see what they can pivot to later on, as they are still going to drop off that support pick. And I'm sure there is a reason why, and this can be proved out through doing lots of drafts, but I feel like Yuumi is almost always blue side banned. And normally if the champion is just like ubiquitously OP, you want to first pick it, but there have to be some reasons on trade picks why you don't first pick it.
And it can simply be that your support isn't as practiced on the champion, right? Because it certainly is a very different style, and to play it at the pro level, I actually think it's quite difficult. I think the champion has a very high skill cap as far as, you know, disjointing skill shots and being able to jump in and out on team fights, hopping off for auto attacks and all-ins, all these sorts of things. So could be certainly a case along those lines, and also could be simply a situation where you are not willing to skip over a pick like Jace or something along those lines as a first pick, but yet you think it's too powerful of a champion to give away for a duo bot lane.
Meanwhile, champions to give away. Sylas, again, first pickable here, and Clutch gonna jump on that one pretty quickly. That doesn't surprise me too much right here, but it does leave a lot otherwise open. If you want a Sona Taric, it's there. If you want Xayah Rakan, it's there. And with just the single jungle ban of Olleh dropping that pool low.
Yeah, there is still a lot of answers available here. A lot of the flex picks are still actually up. Yes, Jace has got nerfed. That is still there. Akali is still there. If they want to go that route, Neeko going to be locked in very quickly though. So Neeko as well as Sejuani can be both mid or top, but we generally do see Neeko top. Yes, it was also very rarely played, you know, in play-ins. It was played bot lane, but certainly expecting it to be going up to Hauntzer. Sylas could be going to Damonte or Huni. They are certainly a team that can flex quite a bit.
Well, right off the bat, we're going to see Jarvan answering pretty quickly in, and Rumble, a pretty quick pickup there. So Clutch already showing all their solo lanes here. They're going to pick bot lane at the very end, unless they do some kind of crazy shenanigans. And they're ready to go. Both these matches are going to feel good about Neeko.
Yeah, very, very interesting stuff to actually see that coming out. I mean, Huni did play Rumble last week. It was in a loss as they are 0-2, but, did have a fairly good performance. It was one of those situations, though, where it felt like oftentimes he was reaching and trying to be almost engaged or looking for these long-range equalizers instead of combining it with the rest of the team. I am happy to see it paired up with Jarvan this time around because I do think the Cataclysm sets up for some very powerful equalizers. If you can lock multiple members in there, if they have no way out, equalizer is an enormous amount of damage, and already feeling like Clutch is again looking for team fights.
Oh, very excited to see what they can round out this draft with. You see Golden Guardians dropping 2 of the big Essence Reaver marksmen off the pool. I would say that Xayah and Sivir probably are the top 2 overall bot laners in League of Legends, at least as far as marksmen are concerned.
Yeah, also worth noting, all that the Golden Guardians bottom lane has played so far is Ezreal Tahm Kench. So are they actually going to ban away Tahm Kench or not? Yes, it has been kind of nerfed as far as the support style. The rank 1 ultimate, for example, is such a short range now. They do get it taken away. So I do think it makes sense, despite the fact that some people were thinking it's a lot weaker. Olleh had been having quite a bit of success with it. So make him show you something else.
And it's interesting because Golden Guardians are the only North American team to play Tahm Kench. That champ is still around pretty much every other league in the world. So NA hates it except for Olleh, and now Corki going to be grabbed up. Of course, again, knows Sylas and Rumble are his only matchup. So right off the top of the bat, bam, there we go. Golden Guardians will play Corki for Froggen. And now Clutch going to grab Jinx, and I think it's going to be very good for Cody Sun alongside Nautilus. I like this dual lane a lot.
Yeah, I do like this quite a lot. This is really interesting. This is something that I've talked about with you quite a bit is, sometimes people are looking at, okay, it's an Ezreal lane, let's try to play something really aggressive and punish it. I think the other option is always just outgreed the Ezreal. If Ezreal wants to get tier and go late, great. Do that with Jinx too, and Jinx is going to outscale. Jinx is going to be, monstrously strong in those team fights. So will be very interesting to see if they can pull that off. Golden Guardians have a very magic damage heavy composition when you're looking especially at the top side of the map. Lira certainly can be looking at things like an early Cowl, early Merc Treads. That type of deal can be very, very effective. And that is always a concern I have when I'm looking at the 3 AP top side. That being said, Hauntzer could go on hit to offset some of that, but I'm not sure that's really the style that they're looking for. It feels like they're drafting more for a team fight. So
double marksman in the backline already is probably enough persistent damage that maybe the burst is useful here, but exciting stuff all around. We can wait the last 6 seconds to see if the Sylas and Rumble are switched around. Rumble, a very good mid laner as well. Of course, we know Sylas can top, but Huni going to stay comfortable on that Rumble, stay in that seat there. You've got 2 great engage tools with Jarvan and Nautilus. You've got really good team fight backup with Rumble and Jinx. And Sylas good all around, can easily handle a side lane himself. So do you like the Clutch 5-on-5? The Golden Guardians, a little bit less easy to execute, I would say. I think there's a bit more required just in setting it up. It's a bit more skill shot reliant, for example. Either way, I think still good champions. We'll see how it kind of bears fruit in game.
Yeah, it will be very interesting. I always like looking at Sylas and what kind of ultimates there are to steal. And while Corki's ultimate is not the most compelling, Ezreal, Thresh, Sejuani, and Neeko all are very powerful. So certainly you have to be really worried about what a team fight looks like when you can steal a Neeko ultimate and have so much guaranteed setup for it with the Jarvan and the Nautilus.
We're getting ready to go on to the Rift. Clutch Gaming hoping to turn their fates around. Golden Guardians undefeated so far in the Summer Split. They're expecting their 3rd win here. We'll see if they can do it. On to the Rift. Here we go. Clutch versus Golden Guardians.
And it is press the attack Neeko, so...
Maybe it is on hit, yeah.
Yeah, so it is on hit, certainly. Don't think you would be going for that rune if you want to go AP.
Press the attack Doran's Blade into AP, yeah.
That would be pretty random. But... that being said, yes, they already have double marksman, but I do think it's one of those situations that they kind of just drafted themselves into, where you have to be really cognizant of the fact that if you're allowing your opponents just go so easily into magic resist on that top side and make it kind of purely AP, that can be dangerous. But he's getting wrapped around on here.
Oh wow, if that was 80 pixels left, that would have been a slow into. I think Huni knowing that it would have landed because Comet would have fired and they would have gone right over the wall onto that one. And of course, that is Hauntzer. That was not Froggen, right? That was the fake Froggen. So he doesn't have Valkyrie. There's no way to get over the wall. And that would have been maybe a flash down.
Yeah, certainly the case. And nice evade from Clutch, despite the fact that Hauntzer just kind of unknowingly avoided it. It did work out quite well. He backed off at just the right time, but at the Shrine Brush, they didn't have kind of any information that it was coming over. And you can see Contractz is going to be starting with that sweeper. Will be able to clear out that ward and kind of hide where he goes after the red buff.
And that's pretty helpful for Hauntzer, because that should be enough XP to get level 2 off the first wave. So if he's at equilibrium at all against Huni, he's going to get 2 first, have the root available, and have a good chance at actually battling this Rumble off the rest of the wave. Now that could be pretty meaningful as time moves on. As Hauntzer now goes back up to the top side here, and we look at both these junglers safely grabbing the red buffs, and the duo lanes now doing battle.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see exactly where Hauntzer does go. You know, I would love to see something along the lines of a Wit's End. I think that can be, you know, very effective early on if either of the people that you would meet in the side lane would be the Sylas or the Rumble. Wit's End can be great there. But that being said, you do still have to be worried about Jarvan and the potential for early ganks with that sort of a build, because you're not building any sort of defensive stats against that physical damage coming out of the Jarvan.
Vulcan maybe looking for a Q. Level 2 now is Lira. Oh, he's not going to spot the ward as he comes around, so he doesn't know he was seen. It might not matter. There might be no chance to stop him off this blue buff, but yeah, there are no movements out of Golden Guardian. So even though the sweeper misses, he will still get this blue buff steal. He doesn't have the smite, but again, no one is answering. So that's coming through to him.
Yeah, and Contractz likely going to just head into vertical jungling, but maybe they had to have spotted him, right? Just now it's ping, so I think they actually didn't notice, or I'm not sure. Maybe the observers can let me know if he actually was spotted when he walked up.
Yeah,
I'm shocked that he didn't go into vertical jungling from that position, because almost always you will see the junglers make that decision when they see, you know, J4 coming in and invading there. Sejuani just goes and kind of counter takes the blue. You can see Huni's even expecting this, going to check that blue, but it is just going to be a 3 buff here for Lira. He's going to be able to get the additional camp.
All right. Yeah, I'm going through the Fog of War right now, and actually, yeah, I mean, that was like, I'm just like watching it back and forth over and over again, and like Jarvan just like walks by the ward.
They saw him and just no one noticed, so that's pretty sloppy, honestly, from Golden Guardians to not have spotted that out. Unless they spotted him, no one pinged, and still decided to just go and give up a 3 buff, but that seems pretty strange. But it is possible, given that there was a pushing top lane from Huni. Maybe he didn't feel that he could make that invade. Not really sure. Either way, will be the 3 buff start for Clutch, and they're going to be feeling good about that.
3 buff start, but the gold right now is in Golden Guardians' favor themselves. You can have pretty decent, a minor camp lead just in current kills for Contractz, and you're going to have slight farm leads in top and mid right now as Contractz pops the Scar's Bloom, looks around for anything else to do, and now Huni finding a really good play on a Hauntzer. Good damage there. Hauntzer ending a little bit back, but certainly more done by the Rumble.
Yeah, Rumble going to be able to push him back. Hauntzer will have to go back to base, and as a result, when you have the way of pushing and you're able to shove him out, you're going to get the TP almost guaranteed here out of Hauntzer, and Huni's going to be able to have the luxury of just pushing this in and walking back to lane. So they should have TP advantage if they want to look for any sort of early dragon plays, if they want to look for any sort of early bot lane plays as well. We'll see if he can get it pushed in and try to get that sort of an advantageous reset.
Down goes the minion wave yet again, and we'll see how long Huni is able to greed onto this one. It's always nice to be able to stay a bit longer and get a bigger recall off, but simply 2 Doran's Blade plus the refillable potion. Huni's going to come back with 1,000 gold. And now we have bot lane under pressure as Lira comes around. The first plate goes down, and Golden Guardians have to play so far back in this duo. Could be a very second plate right now. Lira still waiting in the wings. There's something over aggression. This could be some damage coming across. Now there's the flay towards Cody Sun. Some damage coming around. Lira saying, hey, I'm here, be smart. And now Huni coming down as well. The hook's going to mean almost nothing, and now Olleh is suddenly in the middle of a whole enemy team. 4 versus 2 as they shove up the wave. How well will this dive go? The rest of the squad not coming down. Hauntzer does not have TP. Now the play on towards after the flash forward. He's trying to run away, flashing away, but still going down to the flag on top of it. Damonte now here for the 5th, and Olleh still alone underneath this turret. He'll grab what XP he can, but he's certainly going to drop into that one. There's the kill. Teleport's not going to mean a whole lot as Corki shows up, tries to fight towards Huni. Doesn't have the damage, only forces Summoner heal out as Deftly TP's back into his own lane.
Yeah, really aggressive play here from Clutch, and I love it. They got TP advantage on the top side. Now getting that Jinx ahead. They were already winning the 2v2 straight up, and Cody Sun and Vulcan doing great work in this matchup. Definitely will be able to TP back and recoup some of this farm disadvantage, but still, they even got Froggen's TP out. Yes, Hauntzer is able to get a turret plate for himself, but that is 2 turret plates already down for the bottom lane and 2 kills here. So let's watch this one more time. The second plate was already down. It was good poke onto Vulcan, which did help to dissuade this dive from kind of coming in earlier. You can see the buffer on the hook to kind of counteract what Thresh was trying to do there. And you know they were hard committing to this because Huni had committed the TP. They pull aggro here. Vulcan just hooks on out, rotating the aggro around pretty damn well, then being able to reset it, grab it up here from Lira, who was full HP, and commit that second kill.
Now 2-0 means 1,000 gold lead now for Clutch, but now it's Golden Guardian's turn to answer things around. Olleh saved his flash from last time, but Huni has it as well. He's going to flash a very good direction. It would have to be a huge predict out of Olleh, who doesn't do so, and that is flash for flash, not meaning all that much.
And you can see they actually did the lane swap here. Damonte is up to that top side now. It is Huni answering in the mid lane. You know, not sure if this was just because Damonte could make it up there faster.
Yes.
Because I believe he did have his TP available. But I do like the move, and you know, having Damonte now has that Pop Blossom he can steal from Hauntzer.
All right, he's got that in his inventory right now, so let's wait and watch for what the next play is going to be. So you've got still that 1,000 gold lead. Clutch running up through that bottom jungle yet again. And this time now they know it's no 7ers down there. They just saw Olleh flash. Cody Sun has ult, and Vulcan not that far away from 6 himself. But I know the squad's going to move up towards the mid lane now. Look for what could be done to this poor Corki as Vulcan is coming through Fog of War. That trinket will help spot some of the rotations that Contractz might do. This time around, not seeing him, but there was always a possibility it would. These trinkets are going to spot him, and, well, they know exactly where Sejuani is, and now they know where Froggen is too.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see who's going to actually commit to this first Dragon play. It looks like Clutch wants to make the move to actually try to fight here around this blue buff. Jinx is a little bit late to the play, though.
Well, a good smite, and Atlanta gets him right back out of that one. Zap's going to mean basically nothing against that shield, and it is Golden Guardians able to stay safe right here, sitting there with their buff in their own hands. Not the champion they wanted to have it, but at least it's under their control. Last one not going to land.
Yeah, very calmly handled, honestly. I like a bit of pressure here from Clutch. It's a good attempt. It doesn't get much of anything, but it does deny it, at least from Froggen, as you pointed out. So it's a worthy little piece of pressure, but Olleh and Contractz able to handle that one pretty well. Will be Clutch, though, making the move towards the Dragon. They are a very powerful level 6 team here. You know, when you do have level 6 on Jarvan, as well as the Sylas, who has Pop Blossom available, that is frightening to engage into. And when Nautilus hits 6 as well, you're going to have that guaranteed engage.
And a highly impactful Pop Blossom. Wave clears the mid lane. Damonte had it timing out. There was no more teamfights to be had as that Drake was already gone. And now, once that cooldown comes back up, he can take himself 7 rockets and wave clear with that too.
Yeah, Froggen sitting now on this package and just kind of use it to get out on the map. Not likely to be able to really get any sort of roams done with it. Sometimes you do see people just using the package to walk into the opponent's jungle and try to do some scouting with that because it's such a reliable way to escape from any sort of pressure, and will just be dropped in retreat there.
Yeah, in case there was a stun coming through, but not going to be finding much there. And now we have the jungle continuing to be battled for as over the wall goes Damonte, and that's going to be blue buff handed off. Grabs that one without much issue. Top scuttle goes to Golden Guardians, and the game still stays same state it was a little while ago. Cloud Drake plus 2 kills. Hauntzer, I like this. Grouping up the wave so that it will freeze and push towards his side. And then starts to attack the caster minions. So he'll deny some gold away from this rumble, but doesn't want to be under his own turret.
Yeah, we'll be pushing this in, and you definitely want to be pressuring and trying to work on those turret plates as the Neeko. Your passive third hit does work on turrets, so that is always a very, very strong part of it. You can see he did grab the Vamp Scepter, but then went back into a Null Magic Mantle, so not sure if he's just kind of making a pit stop for the Vamp Scepter and then is going to go into a Wit's End, or if this is just the casual Null, which is going to be sat on and then go into the Blade of the Rune King, because he certainly does have both options, and either way, I do like grabbing that early magic resistance because Huni very likely is going to be picking up flat pen, and the defensive stats are just cheaper and kind of more effective when you are looking at Sork Boots versus a Null, or even the Oblivion Orb versus that.
Definitely advantageous, and even if they swap, he'll still be against Damonte, and that MR will be useful against that matchup as well. Just Jarvan can, you know, hit pretty hard, but that's okay. It's still tank Jarvan. Cinderhulk completed now, and Cinderhulk does magic damage, so we're still good. Top lane gonna be attacked through the river. That is Lira picking up the Eye of the Herald, and they've got a lot of time to work with to knock that one in and get 300 to 400 gold off of that charge.
Yeah, and right now, there's no one kind of answering this bottom side here. Definitely is going to be pushing that up. We'll see how quickly he can get this over into the turret, but it feels like Clutch is happy to just make the full-on swap. They're the ones with that Rift Herald, so they can kind of dictate where they're going with it, and they're just going to look for a first turret topside. Should be theirs, because there's not really any way for anyone to contest this now, as even Damonte is threatening the roam up. They can honestly even continue to escort this in and threaten for a second turret. Yes, Golden Guardians is going to try to answer that push on the bottom side, but they're so far behind the push, and Jinx plus the Jarvan attack speed from the flag is incredibly effective at knocking down turrets, and you have the Rift Herald to boot, so they could go 2 turrets to 1, or even potentially 2 turrets to 0 here.
Yeah, that's a one
just equalize
plate.
the next wave.
1 plate so far picked up. Some Huni farm was denied, but there's the charge in, and half HP on tier 2. They decide, you know, that's enough for us. We'd rather take your jungle and maybe consider the mid lane, maybe consider a quick reset to spend our money there. They're not going to push their luck too hard on top lane, though it might have been successful. Yeah. They're going to play the safer route here instead of their 2,000 gold lead.
Yeah, I think they could have committed for that, but it is certainly a riskier play to go for. They had IE gold, they have some of these item completions coming through, so they want to reset, look to grab that, and instead of going for another trade, they're just going to elect to swap back to bottom lane. Pings coming down on this bottom outer turret, which is sitting at just over 2 plates. You know, barely 1 hit remaining on it, you know, before that next plate does go down, and they had already gotten a lot of chip damage off on it earlier. So now Cody Sun and Vulcan likely going to be joined by Lira on this bottom side of the map, and you can just walk up and start teaching this turret too.
Well, another wave clear pop blossom spent by Hauntzer up in the top lane as he shoves that, resets, buys his next few pieces towards this wit's end, but there's going to be a TP up Neeko, walking top lane, 1 minute till Mountain Drake. It's about a 6-second desync between the Drake spawning and Pop Blossom being back available. Shouldn't punish. Yeah, 160 gold sadly missed there by Golden Guardians, but they would rather get Cody Sun up to this side of the map, knock down the wards, make sure they have control of this one because they seem to be very cognizant of this Drake spawning, and it's very important to them.
Yeah, really wanted to just get that vision going, you know, invade as 3-man squad, so they're not going to greed it out for that extra plate, but still should be able to push this in, and I do want to see them pressure this turret. This should be a very easy 1-2 take. You see multiple Golden Guardian members were around that mid lane, so they can walk up, and this is not going to be contested whatsoever. Golden Guardians bleeding out quite a lot of gold here, and I do think it's concerning with the amount of scaling that is in this clutch composition. Jinx is going to be quite far ahead of the Ezreal as far as the gold advantage is. It's already 1,100 gold in the favor of Cody Sun. Yes, he has not been able to spend that gold, so for any potential fight right now, he's not that far ahead, but should be their Dragon too, and then you can even try to look towards mid lane and start to try to push down there.
Golden Guardians committing their members to the top side of the map instead as Hauntzer keeps Huni under the turret, and you can see the Sejuani up inside the jungle. This is the second Drake picked up, and if Jinx is ahead of the curve, even though she's not a Ruin King champion, she can absolutely evaporate things like Baron in minigun form. She is ahead of the curve. This is Mountain Drake picked up early on. Clutch Gaming, who have had a very good early game, have the tools to convert that early game into an early Baron, into sieging in the mid game.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, it's not only all that damage, but it's a guaranteed engage, and that is something that sometimes these teams in our league are drafting these really complicated compositions, you know, and not always having lots of forms of engage. We did see Clutch struggle with that last week when they had Rumble for Huni. They didn't always have, you know, the really kind of clear-cut ways to start fights. So often he was kind of fishing with that equalizer, as they talked about in Champs League. This should not be a game like that. You should be able to start any fight you want with Nautilus and Jarvan. And be able to have that follow-up from your backline.
Tried and true 5-on-5 certainly available here in this squad, and they've got the gold underneath them to make sure that those stats are going to bear some fruit. Hauntzer up the top side has a half HP turret to attack, and now that the plates are gone, he's going to do true damage with every single auto there, and it gets some pretty good headway. Yeah. Down to about 1/3, but still no gold in the pockets.
Yeah, and I mean, he is up a lot of farm over Huni, so that is really where Golden Guardians has kind of invested a lot of their time. You know, Hauntzer had to commit his TP back to lane, Huni TP'd down to bot lane, so that kind of created this shift in the map of where the power was, and to Clutch's bot lane credit, they were already winning before that in the 2v2, so that just kind of made it even worse. But Hauntzer now, you know, up 40, almost 50 CS, so you know, he is going to be winning that 1v1, but for that to really pay off, you have to get kills, you have to get pressure.
And he's getting pressured now in the 3v1, has to bring the flash. Nice hook onto Equalizer, but it might just equalize the gold lead of the top lane as Vulcan actually is the one to get kill credit with Ignite, and another one is picked up. Hauntzer off the board, gold lead bigger and bigger for Clutch.
Yeah, very well done there. They make the pick on the side lane. Hauntzer gets knocked down, and you can see how much setup there is for that equalizer. You have the Cataclysm coming down. You have Nautilus, the ultimate knockup, the hook, the root on the passive auto. That is all things that kind of help to hold Hauntzer in place and allow them to not only get the kill there, but they're also pressuring mid lane.
Damage in towards Deftly. 3 turrets to 0 as mid does indeed fall. This Clutch Gaming squad doing everything right in the early game. Golden Guardians able to finally answer a few bits back as a turret dropped the bot lane and afraid of getting dove. He was afraid of getting jumped on, and to be fair, there was Sylas and Jarvan heading over, so it burns that cooldown to get back to somewhere safe.
Yeah, so it's not too bad. I mean, you're trading out your TP for that initial gold that you're going to be able to grab, and yes, to us who can see the full map, you know exactly where they were, and maybe he could have got out, but he is kind of taking that safer route and is scaling up fairly well. And it looks like he's going to be going into likely rapid fire next, not the IE second, which I generally see as kind of more common. A lot of people do often go, you know, just the Triforce into Sork Boots, then an IE. This will allow you to kind of get those more easy autos off with the extra range when you can find them. And Corki scales incredibly well. This is a champion in Froggen's wheelhouse, certainly, where he can farm up and be a massive late game threat. So you always have to take that in consideration as well, just how good this guy is in the late game.
And definitely a strong champion, but being rivaled by Cody Sun's Jinx. Certainly a level lead for now to Froggen, but gold in inventory seems kind of one-sided. 6,300 to 7,100 on that Jinx side, so a small lead there as items keep pushing on forward. Golden Guardians hoping they can turn this one around. The deficit not too large. 3K is meaningful, but not insurmountable. And we wait 80 seconds for this next Drake to spawn. Infernal now in this one is going to be really important. I would say it's going to mean a lot for Clutch. Yeah. They've got so many damage dealers. Golden Guardians want to get it off their hands and empower their own late game marksmen.
Yeah, definitely the case. I think both these guys are going to try to have to set up and look for a potential team fight, but you know, that is not really where on-hit Neeko usually succeeds, where Rumble really is going to be happy. Already on the Leandries plus the Sork Boots, has rank 2 of the ultimate. You know, you are in a great position to really tear through a team fight. And Hauntzer now does have that completed Blade of the Rune King. He did elect to go for just some early MR to sit on that. The Negatron will kind of be there to bridge the gap towards any potential Wit's End later on. But 30 seconds on this Infernal, and we've got to start to look to see, you know, where is the vision being set up for these teams. And Clutch has so much vision. This whole area on the map really is kind of all them, so not really a lot of wards in the area yet for Golden Guardians, and Clutch is going to have much easier time starting the Dragon as a result.
It's like a ward kind of just outside the mid lane. Here's a hook that could mean something. Olleh has that shotgun now pulled in, flays the squad backwards. Stopwatch by a few more seconds. True Shot Barrage is almost nothing. Here comes the dunk, and the equalizer on the top. This might be enough to burn. Definitely has to burn the stopwatch. There's the kill into Olleh. Second one's going to come by as well. A double now for the mid laner. Damonte chasing it, almost takes her down with his own ultimate. As that's going to be big damage. Huni gets to burn thanks to Leandries. Kill number 3. Is it going to be number 4? Contractz smites for help. He slows down the opposition, tries to stay alive, finds a stun, but in he goes. Can't quite find the chains. Damonte cannot get killed number 3, but he got the double kill. 6-0 Clutch Gaming walking over Golden Guardians.
Yeah, they crushed through that fight. That was not even close, and now gonna be able to retreat back to this Infernal Dragon, grab that. They even got the tier 2 mid. They're opening up a very big gold lead, and this is starting to look really one-sided.
Beautiful game out of Clutch right there. They were looking pretty weak in the first week. This time around, though, another good team fight. Olleh starts the hook, but Clutch Gaming answers.
Yeah, you do throw that hook down onto Lira, but that is a full tank Jarvan, so you're using some of the engage tools there. Huni comes down. It's a great flank by Damonte, catching out some of these low HP retreating members. And then Froggen trying to poke in on the side, but Vulcan, a beautiful hook, more than enough to take him down as the Leandries burn from Huni does knock him out. This is just a really well-executed team fight from Clutch, and not a hook that I think Olleh should have gone in on, you know, unless it is really on a carry. There's so much peel, there's so much CC there with both the Nautilus and the J4. Jinx is going to have a field day. I mean, Cody Sun was just free-firing with lethal tempo.
Already up to 2 items and building towards probably Quicksilver Sash, just in case there is some kind of random hook later on. Top lane outer, almost dead. Froggen going to go in for that one. And there's rocket number 1, and to the rest of them is Damonte can try to poke. Do a little bit of damage, maybe. It's a possibility, but regardless, this is just a small silver lining for Golden Guardians. There is a lot going the Clutch way, and they can turn their fates around with this win. Yeah,
I mean, these item completions are so big for them as well. Really, every member is at a very strong point. QSS plus 2 items for Jinx. You have double Spell Pen and Leandries for Huni. already. The Proto Belt plus, then another item completed there with Lunzeko for Damonte. So everyone really is at a great point, and even with all the stopwatches coming through, right? You have 3 stopwatches ready, Stoneplate as well for Lira. Like, they have everything they need to take a fight and win it. So you want to see them now starting to kind of get vision around the Baron. We see Optic do this very effectively last time around, and they need to be able to replicate that sort of success.
They're going a little bit sideways, keeping himself safe. Damonte re-ups the Corki portion of this spell, and again, damage towards Vulcan, but not doing a ton just yet. Now looking again at this siege towards this mid lane, looking at the next play, the hook forward, looking at Olleh, not gonna get any hard CC on either side of this one, but the waves being pushed in, having to be answered by Golden Guardians. The Raptors taken away yet again, twice in a row now for Lira as the Rockets come out, and Damonte finds himself a bit of poke towards Contractz, turns off the passive. Still plays for this northern jungle vision control.
Yeah, and it's kind of just this little poke battle. Golden Guardians trying to use the Ezreal as well as the Corki to try to poke out members of Clutch and also check these brushes to see where they exactly are. But now, finally, we do have Clutch moving forward, clearing out even more of this vision. There was that one ward outside of that Baron Pit, which has not been spotted just yet. But besides that, Clutch is really aware of really all of this vision, but they're gonna go in.
Try onto the tank Jarvan. They don't get a whole lot done. Half HP, that's 1 ult down, make it a second, and that is not memorable damage here.
No, I mean, he didn't even feel threatened to use the Stoneplate or Stopwatch or anything, so that's a fair bit committed there with the ultimates coming through from Contractz and Deftly, but not going to be punished really for it, as it looks like Clutch is kind of just resetting on the map. We'll see if Golden Guardians are going to be aware of those recalls and if they're going to be able to get in and try to reestablish some semblance of vision control in this area.
Well, they try. Sweeper is on, a couple of wards down on the map, and as those resets come through, it does feel like Golden Guardians are kind of aware of this. Cody Sun walks bot side, grabs himself his own red buff. QSS is done, which makes him feel very safe. 1,300 golden inventory means a Zeal if he wants one. But a control ward is arguably better at the state of the game, and kudos to you for playing around the vision game. Cody Sun, I like that one. 6,000 gold, though. Golden Guardians have to work their way back as Clutch take this topside river. They're going to knock down all of these wards. They can see every single one of them with that control ward in the pit, and they will once again darken this river.
Yeah, again, it's really just restarting this whole area. So they have great vision, here in the river. You can look all along this area. That is all Clutch. Where you really need to see them kind of extending it, though, is looking forward to these areas up here and these areas up here, because that is where you're going to have to see Golden Guardians poking in from to try to get towards that Baron Pit and then drop wards over. Until you can really deny all those avenues, you're going to see the Golden Guardians not really be giving up that Baron.
Hauntzer trying to juke away, and they guessed correctly which one was not the clone, but he's still able to walk away. The hook's not quite going to land. He'll stay alive without burning summoner spells, but you can see the pressure mounting on all kinds of sides in this map as Huni walks his team in, and they're going to go ahead and steal his blue buff away. That'll go as it burns to the red buff to Cody Sun. Oh, more mana on Jinx. Now it's Froggen just jumping into the squad. You knew they were there. And down he goes. A very unceremonial kill.
Yeah, I mean, they just cleared the ward. They had full of information, I believe, that they were all around there. I think Froggen just thought, there's no way they can kill me. I have package. And Froggen, very wrong about that, unfortunately, does go down. You lose that, it means Clutch can just start up this Baron here, potentially. I think they should just start it, and they will. Without one of the strongest members on the team here for Golden Guardians, it's just going to have to be them sacrificing that Baron. So huge mistake from Froggen. Already a 7,000 gold lead. Make it even more. Clutch is in full control.
Golden Guardians pick up at least a Drake for themselves. That's Infernal. It's something on the board, but it's certainly going away from them. Clutch, what a performance here. Winning all across the map. The only lane they really lost there was the fact that, well, you got an AD Neeko against Rumble. That's just going to happen sometimes, but they played a team fight composition. They dove the bottom lane around level 4. That went really well, and they never let off the gas. They got so many turrets early on, and they got leads everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, even the top lane, a lot of that lead, you can argue, was from Huni TPing bot lane, while Hauntzer actually TP'd back to lane. So, they are in now such a good spot. You can see even the Magi is a pretty bold buy here from Damonte being grabbed up. So he feels he's at such a strong point, working towards that Zhonya's third. 3 items now done for the Jinx before Ezreal has those items done, despite the QSS on top. So that is very, very frightening. Clutch has everything they need, I think, to potentially close out this game.
Thunderbolts and Lightning here for Clutch. They are looking really good as we have Well, 2 minutes and 20 seconds still this Baron buff, and they're ready to walk right up the mid lane. 4 turrets gone. It's bot and top lane where there are openings. Now the attempt towards Huni, though. It's Golden Guardians not trying to go quietly into that. They're looking for some kind of way back into this one, and Huni might not have any kills to his name. There is the pickup there, at least a little bit of something for Golden Guardians, but it means that the answer in mid is there. Inhibitor turret's going to drop right away. The inhibit itself will drop as well, and then Clutch can reset off their next set of waves, because guess what? You got Damonte pushing in top side. Top tier 2's already gone. They can walk there as well, but do you siege 4v5? For Damonte, that answer so far is yes. He's got Magi's. He's feeling pretty bold. But a 5v4 could still be risky. Hook's gonna come in. They're gonna find a support. That's a pretty squishy champion. Damage on a Vulcan as he pops a stopwatch. Is there a re-engage now? A Sejuani stun is available now as Vulcan is killed off by Ezreal. That is now 2 champion kills, but it's 2 turrets that went towards Clutch plus the inhibitor.
Yeah, critically, Vulcan never able to proc his aftershock there. He couldn't get an auto or a hook. The ultimate came out and did not land until he'd already gone down. So support Nautilus is very squishy. If you cannot actually get that aftershock off right off the bat, they are able to capitalize on that. As you say, 2 kills going Golden Guardians' ways. That's their first 2 kills of the game, by the way. So nice hook here from Olleh, and they are able to capitalize on it. The stopwatch does buy time, but Jinx and Sylas cannot really walk forward and actually punish this. They did not have the ability to engage over the wall with the turret still alive. So it is Golden Guardians pushing Clutch back and buying themselves some semblance of hope, but Clutch is already reset and they're just gonna keep shoving.
And I will say that even though I would argue that 2 turrets and inhibitor is better than 2 kills, I think most people would agree with that one. I think it's still one of the best plays Golden Guardians could have made, being you're against Baron and 8,000 gold.
Exactly. You have to take into consideration the overall game state. Yeah, it's not a 50% chance to win the game at that point. So, you know, taking a play that is slightly in your opponent's favor still can shift the game state slightly towards you, right?
Yeah.
You're giving yourself a little bit better chance to win. We do have Cody Sun looking to siege here, moving on up, and they just need to be careful about Sejuani.
That is a stun to the front line, but it is onto that Nautilus. The shield not broken. They're going to keep walking forward. Definitely looks for some poke. Not going to find too much just yet. And that turret is 1 cannon minion away from dropping, and down it goes. Money still in the pockets. 10,000 gold, nearly the lead for Clutch.
Yeah, they've got to be a little careful because they have Huni on the top side, so they are going to wait till Huni has the wave at the turret, force someone to respond before they fully commit here. Because losing a 5v4 is really one of the only ways you could be in trouble in this game, but feeling quite confident at this point. Damonte now has Neeko ult, he is level 16, and Huni is going to be on that top lane turret.
With Sejuani ult down, the only thing you have to watch for is just marking Thresh. As long as the person he can hook isn't going to die, you're okay with this one. But now it is a push towards Huni. On rotation at half health, and Huni is going to be picked off, but now watch for the rest of this map as the bottom inhibitor has been dropped as well. And yet again, it is a kill for a turret, and it's likewise inhibitor, but it is at least pieces of gold traded back and forth.
Yeah, Huni going to get picked off again there, you know, walking out pretty confidently. The package was grabbed by Froggen, and they're able to convert on a kill. So pretty important for them. Froggen going to be able to get the red buff here also, and has hit a very strong point of the game. This is IE, Trinity Force, and Rapid Fire. So if you can somehow get access to Cody Sun, you can pop him. There is the chance there of a team fight being turned around, but it is so hard to get through these 3 melee champions that are going to be sitting in front of him, 4 if Huni is there too.
8,000, still the difference here, and Baron is up in just over a minute, and that feels like what Clutch are going to run to now. They have yet to lose a 5-on-5. It's been single kills, piece by piece, that Golden Guardians have picked up. The Infernal they got was as a trade for the Baron going down. The kills they were getting were in trade for inhibitors being taken. Golden Guardians have yet to find their unanswered advantage, as Mount Drake will be picked up pretty cleanly, and it'll make that second Baron all the faster.
Yep, and I mean, those kills, their first kills of the game, really have only come in the last couple of minutes, right? You know, this has been Clutch pretty much fully in control, and despite the fact that Hauntzer has a lot of farm, you know, he's certainly, you know, ahead in that regard, up over 60 CS. It doesn't really matter. It's not the story of the game. He does have a Rage Blade now, but is he ever going to have enough time to get out to a side lane and actually threaten some sort of a play? Hasn't looked like it this far. We've never seen him and Huni committed to a full-on 1v1 where he can get any sort of an advantage.
And once Huni gets in the 5-on-5, it's obviously a lot better to be the Rumble in this case. The level 16 has been acquired, and that's really the last important power spike, because the points and shield just not really as relevant for that champion. And he's going to be all kinds of powerful. 3 major items, going to feel good. Letting up the gas, not likely here for Clutch. Baron spawning in 2 seconds. They can either go for mid and just try to take down the Nexus, or they can keep that vision dark. And and just go for Baron.
Yeah, I mean, and Clutch hasn't actually swept out all these wards, so the Golden Guardians doesn't actually have to be worried about this. They are going to TP Ezreal back in to keep him around, potentially going for a fight.
Okay, a hook towards that. Jungle going to mean a little bit as well. Dives right in, finds the hard engage, comes in, bows a couple of seconds.
Equalizer.
And that is a big equalizer. 1 for 2 so far. It's Clutch picking up the second, and now it's the team running away. That is a big rocket coming across, making it 3-1. And now it's just simply a full retreat for Golden Guardians. They're not getting away from this one. A triple kill for Cody Sun. Froggen, his life is just not going to matter. Over the wall, Huni wants revenge. He'll find the slow, and you have Yeed, your last haw. An ace comes in for Clutch, and they will certainly knock down the base. The respawn timers simply too long. 30 seconds on any damage dealers. The minions are there. Clutch will stop the loss streak. They will knock down the undefeated Golden Guardians and begin to climb their way back up the standings.
Yeah, and an impressive win it was. Nothing sloppy here from Clutch. They looked really, really good. And were able to honestly heavily punish the Golden Guardians bottom lane. First game without Tom Kench. First loss for Golden Guardians. The 2v2 going very well for Cody Sun and Vulcan. And then 5-man bot did really blow this game wide open. And it felt like kind of that tale of two lanes where Golden Guardians wanted to put all their resources into Hauntzer, but he was never able to find an opportunity to really exploit any sort of advantage or get any sort of 1v1 kills, which meant Clutch just grouped. They drafted tons of engage this time, and it feels like they've made adjustments based on their issues that they had last week, and they worked out great for them.
And I gotta say, this style of Clutch gaming is actually what I want to see from this squad. This play around bot lane, make Cody Sun your late game carry, play team fight centric compositions. That seems to be the style that I think will work for them going forward. I think Cody is a very consistent late game carry, and this is a squad that struggled really hard to find wins in the spring split, but I think this kind of style will have a much better look for them going forward. Beating Golden Guardians is a good one. That was the number 5 team from the last split. They nearly cracked top 4 in a very, very tight best of 5. Certainly a playoff team they were. It was an undefeated team so far in summer. This is a quality win that you can feel good about and say, look, if we can play like this, we're a playoff team.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because we've had this discussion, amongst the casters a fair bit. If you are towards the bottom of the standings, how should you play? And I have always really felt that if you're not having success with complicated compositions, draft 2 hard forms of engage, play team fight. It's such an easier win condition. It's so much more straightforward than trying to have, all these 5 skirmishing champions where you have to force chaotic fights like they did last week or playing the Pyke G2 style. Nautilus, Jarvan, press R, go in, team fight AD carry, looks great.
Huni on Rumble, presses R, does well there too. It looked out pretty good. Now we're gonna send it down to Pastry Time for an interview with a member from the victorious team.
Thank you very much, Freak. And the member of this victorious team is Damonte from Clutch Gaming. Finally picking up a win here in week 2 of LCS.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's pretty embarrassing, but yeah, it feels good.
Well, embarrassing. Why has it been embarrassing? I mean, teams have rough starts.
Yeah, I mean, teams have rough starts, but I think our roster definitely is not 9th place like we showed last split, and definitely not 0-2 like we showed last week. So it feels good, I mean, we haven't shown what we're capable of, and hopefully this is the start of the uptrend for us.
For sure. I mean, in general, I feel like on paper, there's so much talent on your team. What's happened after that first week to kind of maybe change things around the Clutch team?
I think we're just focusing more on just game day preparation. There's been a very big gap for how we play scrims and how we play stage, and it's been almost all 5 of the players. We all just play different on stage, and I think this game we did a bit better. We still didn't absolutely dominate the game like we could have, because I think our draft was just much better than theirs. But we played better, and it was an improvement, so it's nice to see.
And I think maybe consistency can be the one thing that teams are looking for. Do you feel like now with this win, Clutch can be a lot more consistent kind of throughout the rest of the season and, of course, eventually to playoffs?
Yeah, this is just going to help the team morale. Obviously, if you start the season 0-3, it's not going to feel very good.
Well, congratulations on the win today. Thank you very much. We're going to throw it back to the State Farm analyst desk to close out the day.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. Winless no longer is Clutch Gaming as they pick up a victory over one of our undefeated teams coming into the day. the Golden Guardians. So now sitting at 1 and 2. Last week, we kept hammering how unsatisfied we were with the Clutch Gaming drafts in their two games of week 1. Crumbs, how do you feel this time around about what Clutch came to the table with?
Love it. Guarantee you they watched the VODs, they stuck through the analyst desk, heard what we said, and then drafted around that.
Crumbs.
So there
Yeah,
we go.
Coach Crumbs.
It's all of us,
Put it on
Bask in
your
the
resume.
glory of Clutch Gaming's victory. Nautilus is amazing for what they were trying to do. Last week it was about Jason Rumble, kind of tough to execute, but now Nautilus presses R, guarantee knockup, lay the equalizer on top of it. You got Jarvan, Cataclysm as well. So much easier. Ezreal hit it on the desk throughout the cast. It's exactly what we wanted to see.
And you're simplifying some of the players' positions who have been struggling a little bit. Lira has been up and down, so Lee Sin can make huge plays, but Jarvan, EQ ult, it's much easier than trying to find the perfect angle. At the same time, I don't know how you did it, Crumbs, but you convinced Golden Guardians to pick a team with zero pressure, really. I mean, they have a Neeko top, which is good for pushing in, but Sejuani doesn't necessarily combo that well with it. Your bot lane's going to get pushed in, your mid lane.
Yeah.
It's just no playmaking in any lane except kind of top. So I don't know how you did it.
That's a
for
Renegades
making-
draft right there, baby.
Take two to tango. But somehow
Especially
you
in a
got
world where the Neeko's building on hit, right? Not even AP to have maybe some kind of team fight presence. You've literally dictated from minute 1, we're going triple ADC, which means this game needs to go late if we want to have a chance to just kind of out-damage you.
And I like that you say needs to go late. Look at the average time of games. It's like 20 minutes to 35. What are you expecting? When you draft this, you're going to 40 minutes plus. Games don't even last that long anywhere. I don't like it.
Don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, they got dove early on. They had all these things going wrong. They lost 1 million turret plates early into the game. So it was a very tough early game from Golden Guardians, who, it's not like there's bad scaling on the side of Clutch Gaming. Like, they have a Jinx. They have a Sylas who just gets stronger and stronger as he gets that ult cooldown drop so he can keep stealing ult. So it wasn't like they were going to give it up.
But you can see the mismatch in the comps, even in this statistic here. The number of turret plates taken, 10, which just results in 1,600 gold in favor of Clutch Gaming. That wasn't the only way that they found advantages, but very much their composition and the ease of execution in the early to mid game is what gave them an insurmountable gold lead. So to your point, although the game didn't even make it to 40, I'm not even sure if we made it to 40 with the way that the gold lead's trending, that they have a chance at that point.
And you're fine, like Mark said. You've got a Jinx anyways, and you've got more crowd control. That actually matters towards the later the game goes, the more important CC is, because your damage is higher. So if you lock somebody out, their DPS is significantly reduced, and on that contrast, they'll be able to do and dish out even more. So this fight starts with Golden Guardians somehow trying to go onto the Jarvan. They're going to regret that one right away. And with a really nice flank from Damonte on the right-hand side, they're able to clean up those guys over there. And then another great hook out of Vulcan is enough to finish out Froggen.
Yeah, and you know, Lira had a great EQ combo into Ultimate, which is exactly what we're talking about with this simpler team fight execution. Once that comes out, that's where Huni lays his equalizer. So even though they all flash out of it, they had to flash out of it.
They're all separated.
Whereas previously, in the previous Rumble game, they just kind of walked out.
And you know why it's better for it to be these champions like Jarvan and Lee Sin for ease of execution? It's not just that we want the individual players to be able to have an easier time pulling or making big plays. It's that as a team, you know exactly what your teammates are trying to do.
Yes.
I know what the Jarvan's looking for. I see it from a mile away. They're clumped up. He's going for the combo. He's going for the ultimate. If I have a Lee Sin on my team, I have no idea what this guy is thinking at any point. He might do an insect. He might do a kick flash. And at the end of the day, a steady composition gives you a steady gold graph.
And that same logic does apply to solo queues. So if you at home are taking anything away from this, it is exactly that. There are certain champions in League of Legends that are much more binary in what they want to do, and having those lens to your teammates, being able to follow up well with it. But I also want to key into the interview that Damonte just shared with Pastry Time, because I think this is a guy who has high standards for himself, and in the spring split was beginning to make a name for himself as one of the stars of the team. And you can kind of see to a degree how hard that 0-2 start was hitting him. He's very unsatisfied, it seems, with the poor start. But that is, again, what excites me about this roster, is that those losses only serve as fuel for him, motivation for him to get better and prove that they are not an 0-2 team like they showed in week 1.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it's sad that they're feeling this way, but still, as an outsider, good that they're fired up, that they're not satisfied, that they want more. This is a ton of guys with chips on their shoulder. Huni wanting to get back Cody Sun wanting to get back into it, Vulcan not being proven, Damonte not really being proven yet, Lira being so good and falling far down. Like every single one of these guys has so much to prove this split that like from their perspective, yeah, you want to make playoffs, you want to make a Worlds run, but more than that, you just want to prove that you can compete right now.
That you're worthy, without a doubt. Now, with the day complete, let's get a refresher of the standings. Cloud9 and Optic Gaming, they maintain an undefeated streak, while Golden Guardians drop to 3rd alongside Team Liquid. Clutch Gaming, they move up to 5th next to Counterlogic Gaming, Echo Fox, TSM, and FlyQuest. But now for the more important part of it all. The predictions for the day where Mark snags that FlyQuest over TSM difference, but no 5-game day for either of you as Clutch had the upset
But hey, look
in
at
the
that.
final one.
We're all lined up. 11-4, 10-5, 9-6. It's a nice little 1-2-3.
Oh, okay. I was like, you're all I thought you were going to say you're all even, but
I'm coming for you.
Mark's coming for you. We've discussed this. You're a slow starter when it comes to the predictions.
I'll go 0-5 tomorrow. You know, it's no big deal.
Yeah, why not?
I'm even keeled.
How big a gap you think you can make up? How far could you fall?
He's not going to take me up. Not a single day will he
Give
overtake
me 0 right on week 4.
Let's
See if I can
let's
get to
handicap
50-50.
this. We'll just give Mark an automatic 5 loss. Taking a look at the games that we have coming up tomorrow, the day starts with Counterlogic Gaming hoping to take down Team Liquid, followed by 100 Thieves versus Clutch Gaming, and 3 more matches before LCS cooldown with Cloud9's Licorice and Sneaky. Then, of course, our Academy Showcase match, Cloud9 Academy versus Echo Fox Academy. But taking a look at that packed schedule for tomorrow, gents, what are you looking at? Which matchup is the marquee one for you?
I think the last one, you got FlyQuest against Optic. FlyQuest
I thought you were going to say
demolished
C9 Academy versus Echo Fox Academy.
Yeah.
So
now
last
let's
was
do,
the last one.
Yeah, I'm casting that. That's very important.
so tune into that one.
Hey, C9 Academy for like the 5th Academy season in a row, they're smashing again. So like
They've
all
taken a loss already, though. 2-1.
2-1, but
Yeah, it was exciting. It was a good game.
it was a good game.
All right.
Watch
I'm actually really excited for that cooldown as well. Sneaky Licorice are always an exciting
Yeah, they're going to
duo.
tell us about the draft against from Cloud9 and Echo Fox's Academy as well. So we'll get to maybe hear some nuggets about how LCS Cloud9 interacts with Cloud9 Academy.
Small teaser. Now I'm ready. Now I'm even more excited. My appetite has been wet. If you need more League for your eyeballs, though, stay tuned for the LEC rebroadcast, which had a finals rematch with Origin looking to take down G2 to conclude their first week. That said, now for myself, the casters, the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for more of the LCS. Good night.
You don't have flash, and if Riven is level 6 and flash is on you, you instantly need to ult out.
FLICKR in the middle, finds 2 Fears, gets that first kill, and a reset for Broken Blade, and they can certainly chase for more. Do they find the opening? Akini goes down, Viper has arrived, and his fangs are sharp!
They're going in. We're good. Wait up. We're okay. We can win this one. I'm going in. Yeah.
Viper charges right back in! It's venomous! 4 kills, and the stopwatch stops the reset! So nothing comes through for Pyke, it's 4 for 0!
Whoa, holy. There's a new guy with the jersey in the crowd.
It's not another one. One more?
It's a different guy from last week.
Another one.
Nice. Are there any more?
Nope.
That was a couple of seconds, and there is a big equalizer. Full retreat for Golden Guardians. They're not getting away from this one. A triple kill for Cody Sun.
I can practice my Clown Fiesta skills.
And Aframu and Bang go for the 2 versus 1 on the double lift here in the bottom side.
I think I can save him.
Olaf is there.
I'm dead.
Wait.
But they can't find the kill. Jensen grabbing the kill onto the enemy support to start things off. Some days trapped in his own cataclysm. Impact brings down the hammer. And Team Liquid will destroy 100 Thieves.
Well, never mind. Active.
Oh, are we going to get the chance? Is Sneaky in some trouble? Taking very low. Svenskeren making his way into the fight. Long.
Svenskeren here for the counter this time around.
There comes your explosive cast, but you're not going to counter that. Echo Fox trying to disengage. They don't want anything else to do with this. Cloud9 going forward. Cataclysm into the Pile Blossom. And Echo Fox is annihilated.
Nice job. Good look.
It's a murder.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Can't get a return auto attack onto Crown, who is waiting. And wave clearing. Good stun. And actually, Crown, yeah, taking a lot of damage to that one. Kingslayer gets the health back up. And over the wall he goes. What a flash. Oh, that was beautiful. PoE finds the kill.
Holy shit, I'm taking this.
Did hit the stun, but Crown plus the minions.
He's 6 first.
Yeah, he's 6 first because of that minion advantage.
Nice.
This is just completely decimation. It is Optic taking down the base, a 30-minute win.
Don't die. I want to do it. Kill him.